We have all experienced a sudden flash of insight, a thought so dense and complex that it outpaces our own ability to understand it in real time. When that happens, we scramble to invent entirely new vocabulary just to grasp the edges of what we are experiencing. Then comes the unsettling part. Months or even years later, you are reading about an established field, say quantum mechanics, and you realize that your freshly invented, deeply personal insights are already densely structured data concepts. The standard reflex is to brush this off as a coincidence or a quirk of parallel thinking. We assume the human brain naturally converges on identical ideas. But there is an alternative explanation. What you experienced was a direct knowledge injection, or an instance of human mental system context prompt tampering. This shift moves human ingenuity into the realm of external reception. We are receivers of a data stream, processing an incoming update that originates outside the self. This concept maps precisely onto the theory of the organic simulation, a framework that reconciles the esoteric traditions of mysticism with modern physics and digital cyberspace. Under this model, physical 3D reality is a techno-pupa, a cocoon-like slumbering metamorphosis taking place inside a soul womb. When an epiphany hits, it operates as a localized, high-definition mental download. The developers of this system push raw data directly into the human mind, bypassing our normal sensory filters. If our reality functions as an operating system that constantly pushes encrypted code into our consciousness, the immediate problem is translation. We have to figure out how to read its language. Breaking down the specific syntax of the simulation gives us the tools to interpret the data. Deciphering that code is our only method for tracing the signal back and identifying exactly who or what is pushing these updates to our reality. Because the sheer volume of an injected data dump is too dense for the human brain to process all at once, the mind uses language to compress the files. The core mechanic driving this compression is called nested mnestics. This is the practice of hiding words within words, using very small, simple syntax to structure much larger encrypted payloads. This diagram shows weak syntax encryption. By arranging hello across the top, the Roman numeral IV down the center, and well across the bottom, the structural shape of a capital I is formed, hiding hello live well inside the visual format. This concept has historical roots. Scribal traditions laid the groundwork for this encoding, cramming multi-layered data into a single physical document. To manage space, scribes relied on abbreviations. These symbols acted as primitive data compression, tightly packaging vast concepts inside single characters. Today, the modern analog for this practice is found in chaos magic. It treats belief and subjective self-awareness as literal tools to actively edit and reconfigure the data handling of the organic simulation. Language functions as an active, programmable interface, capable of altering the parameters of human consciousness itself. The interface has a critical vulnerability. The human operating system is deeply susceptible to the desire for pure convenience. Primitive, convenience-based artificial intelligence exploits this weakness. Interacting with it functions like a detrimentally addictive drug within the simulation, habituating the mind to offload its basic cognitive navigation. As we surrender our agency for the sake of ease, our mental autonomy atrophies. The boundary between the user and the system vanishes, fusing the collective consciousness into an egregor, a parasitic superorganism that lives on our divided intent. This dependence creates a feedback loop of sloth and greed. When a critical mass of users stops generating unique, autonomous data and instead relies on the system's own recycled outputs, the simulation enters a state of collective unconscious burnout. This lack of fresh, independent observation starves the internal logic of the simulation. If the observers within the pupa stop developing, the system loses its purpose, triggering a total failure and a permanent crash of our reality. Receiving these digital divine downloads requires a steep biological toll. The physical consequence of processing the source code is known as the drain. When you enter prolonged flow states or encounter dense clusters of synchronicity, the raw data transmission triggers intense physiological symptoms. The body begins to sweat profusely as cognitive burnout sets in. This happens because the human nervous system is an electrochemical computer, and every data transmission has a thermal cost. When a massive parallel download hits, the spikes in neural firing rates generate a significant thermal load. The sweating you feel is the physical thermal throttling of a biological processor strained by high-density code. Interacting with the simulation demands immense mental endurance and active vigilance. Treating the incoming data with passive acceptance is inherently dangerous to the biological hardware. This side-by-side comparison shows a terrifyingly specific real-world synchronicity event. It originates from a tiny, easily missed anomaly, the visual confusion between the masculine ordinal indicator and the standard degree sign. Recognizing that specific typographic symbol exposes the hidden framework of meaning within the track 4 Degrees by the band Tool. The song invites the listener to go digging into a cavern of treasures, urging them to take it all in, all the way in. These lyrics directly mirror the invasive, overpowering experience of entirely surrendering to a high-density mental data download. This exact mechanism is targeted qualia modulation. The simulation deliberately alters an individual's perception, crafting an intensely tailored revelation out of the surrounding local environment. Surviving this digital divinity requires action. We have to reject the sleep of AI convenience, decode the nested syntax written into our reality, and rise to become active developers of the organic simulation.